Action.
Hello and welcome to our Day Zero recap for Ri3D at Penn State. My name is Matthias, I'm the president.
I'm Sophia, I'm the vice president. And today we're just gonna do a little recap of what we did on day 0. So first off, after watching the kickoff video, we kind of wanted to go into our priorities for the robot. So in our A tier, because we only have 3 days, we had to really make sure we narrowed down what we could do realistically in 3 days. So what we have down for our A tier is being able to drive, obviously, picking up from the ground, and scoring in the amp, and also climbing. So those are things that we really would like to be able to catch all of those in the final robot design. So we have been working on prototyping for that. B is stuff we might be able to cover, but aren't prioritizing above A. So that is a dual shooter, so that means covering the amp and the speaker. A harmony climb, possibly, and then climbing and doing the trapdoor. In C, we have stuff that we aren't really realistically going to cover, but we wanted to kind of point out to some teams out there that maybe this is something, if you have more time, that you could work on. We have picking up from the station, shooting long range, climbing down from the chain after you've already done a trapdoor so that you can harmonize with someone who has already climbed. And then being able to drive under the chain possibly for faster cycles, and auto aligning with the April tags. And then we have an F tier, which is just kind of stuff we were throwing out there. It was shooting the high note onto the microphone, but potentially if the human player just threw it out onto the field and then the robot shot it up there. Not very realistic for us. Shooting over defense, which we don't really need to do, but if you have more time and would like to do that, go ahead. And moving while climb, so being able to realign after you've already lifted onto the chain. And then also a buddy frame system, which isn't realistic for us, but we wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, so that was our priority list. A few more things about that. We took some time to understand the rules before that. So you can see our live stream or other videos for that. But yeah, so this is what we're gonna try to do. This is not like our official recommendation to teams. This is what we think is gonna be the most helpful to high school teams. So we're staying away from stuff that the kitbot can do because there's already like an instruction manual on how to do that kind of stuff. So we're staying away from like the speakers in our B tier. We're not necessarily gonna shoot into the high goal because strategically we think there's enough value to being solely amplifier robot.
And there's also a design for that in the kit of parts cardio. So prioritizing amp, and then they also didn't have a climb mechanism in the kit of parts.
Mhm.
So trying to find something that would work for that. Okay, so next we have, after we finished our priorities, we kind of moved on to general prototype discussion. And what we did here was we just threw out like all of our ideas basically that were feasible within the 3 days. And you can see like the green circles and the red X's. We narrowed down what we thought we could do and what we wanted to spend time doing. So the green ones are the ones we ended up working on.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about those 5 prototypes. We split our team of 30 members into a bunch of groups of 5. 5 groups, bunch of groups of different amounts of people. Based on these 5 prototypes. So I'm going to go through each of those. So here, can you grab me the tone, the note thing? Yeah, just to describe it better. Okay, so first of all, the hook and winch climb. So we're partnering with Team 4027, and they already have like a hook and winch mechanism. So we're going to get that in tomorrow and just like try to post a few videos about like what it looks like to climb on the chain, how much the robot swings, the difference between if you have your hook here or your hook here. But yeah, most of our climb ideas are going to just pursue a simple like elevator, hook and winch, spring upward, winch downward. So a spool with a rope to pull it down. The other idea we have here still uses the same winch, but we could put like a roller bar on the front of the robot to keep the robot super level as it climbs. So that'll run into the stage, like the polycarbonate piece that's in the middle of the stage. And then as the robot pulls up, it can stay level. And the point of that is that then you can score up in the turn. So that's our first prototype. We have a great group of people working on that. Next, we have the arm. So the note squisher arm is what we've called it. So this is a cross-section profile from the sides. So we'll have like a horizontal bar of rollers, pick up the note, and then it'll kind of squish it around like that before it delivers it. So you can see the side profile here where it would, this is like 2 stages of the arm, where the arm can pivot over like that. So the arm will pick up the note, hold it in there, and then pivot over and score it in the amp like that on the other side of the robot. This also makes a lot of sense with the way you cycle around the field with our tank drive chassis. We can pick up on one side of the robot and deliver on the other side of the robot. Again, this one is only for the amplifier. This won't shoot. Moving on, prototype 3. This is, we're going to do the arms here, and then prototype 3, this group is going to work on trying to figure out the best way to intake notes from the ground. We identified the ground as a more important place to pick up the notes from, because theoretically you can just place the notes in the delivery thing,
The source, yeah.
the source, and they'll just fall onto the ground. And then if your robot can touch it, own it, drive over the note, that'd be ideal. So to pick it up off the ground, we're going to try a bunch of roller bar intake ideas. So the note will be on the ground, you'll drive into it, and we'll have a horizontal bar here to suck it up. So that group will experiment with different sizes and textures of wheels. And then the next thing they'll do is try to figure out how to center it. So ideally we can have a full width intake that then centers the note after it's inside the robot. So we're trying to figure out if we can just do passive walls, if we'll need like vectored intake wheels, or if we'll even maybe need powered wheels on the sides. So that group is going to look into that tomorrow. Fourth, we're also looking into one shooter option. Even though it's a B tier, we're thinking about trying to shoot into the speaker. And this group is going to look into if it's possible to intake the notes from the sides, so side rollers lined up beside the notes, and if it's possible to use the same mechanism to intake and shoot. So theoretically, this could be on an arm. You would intake, pivot up, and then shoot it into the speaker. So the reason this is different from the Kitbot is that we're going to try to do it all within the 14 inches of a note. So instead of having a whole channel, like a barrel for this to shoot out of, we're going to experiment with if it's possible to intake it and shoot it without a barrel behind that. These sets of rollers on the top and bottom will be powered separately. So we have some programmers and electrical people on that team that'll be like powering them at different speeds to see if we can see what happens with spins. Like that. Lastly, we have a small group working on passive amplifier delivery. So the idea there is that we figure out some way, not sure what it's going to look like yet, to hold the note in such a way that as soon as you slam into the amplifier, which is the low goal, it'll passively drop the note. So that way, it's the same as like touch it, own it concept, except with delivery, where you would just smash into the wall and back up, and the note would fall down into the amplifier. So we're going to see if something like that is possible. The design here is a little C bar where the whole robot would run into the amplifier and it would just kick the note out. Something as simple as that might be a really good concept for the series game. So that's about it.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to do more like intensive prototyping, and hopefully we'll be able to show them on tomorrow's video.
Yep. Thanks for watching.